Wednesday, July 25th, 2001 broadcast. Tyranny is enveloping the globe, and the United States is a shining jewel the globalists want to bring down, and they will use terrorism as the pretext to get it done. So that's coming up in the second half of the show. Very important information. I'm going to put the call out that you call the White House and tell them, look, we've seen the news stories that you've wanted to blow things up, that you have blown things up, and that you're saying that 4 million of us are going to die and we need martial law and the Associated Press at one of your little drills you had, and that we're aware of who the terrorists are if you pull this. This can stop this Hitlerian Reichstag event. Call the White House and tell them, we know the government's planning terrorism. We know Oklahoma City and World Trade Center was terrorism. We know the Joint Chiefs of Staff wanted to blow up airliners, Baltimore Sun. If you do it, we're going to blame you because we know who's up to it. Or if you let some terrorist group do it, like the World Trade Center, we know who to blame. And you could save the planet. I'm calling it Operation Expose the Government Terror.
Well, there was a 2-hour thing I did in July 25th, 2001, where I went ahead and went on air and said they're going to blow up the World Trade Center, blame on the CIA, hit bin Laden, then launch all these wars. And I said, I just got this from analysis and information, but I kept having the dream of the towers smoking and all the rest of it.
This was after, what was it, 90 what, when they blew up the World Trade Center
92.
the first time? 92? That was a big, because it wasn't a big tragedy. It was a tragedy, but it wasn't the biggest tragedy. Look at you. 2001. Look at you. You look like Bill Hicks.
Please don't add to that.
The fucking rumor.
By the way, go further. Exactly. That's the other end of craziness. Like, I'll cover real things.
Well, in all fairness, I didn't meet you until after Bill Hicks was dead. And I met Bill Hicks before I met you.
And in all fairness, you told me Bill Hicks wasn't that funny.
No, that's not me. That's Ari Shaffir. Yeah, Ari Shaffir is the guy that has I think
Bill was really a good political analyst and was very poetic.
I would never say he's not that funny. He wasn't the funniest guy ever, but he might have been the most interesting ever because he was funny, but he was
knew him.
also
I look nothing
no. I didn't know him. I met him.
Do I look? Am I Bill Hicks?
You're not Bill Hicks. You don't look anything like him.
No,
you don't look anything like him. He was. I would never say he's not funny, but what I would say he's not a guy that you would think of as only being funny. He tried to introduce really weird ideas into comedy. Like he had a great bit, why aren't there ever positive drug stories in the news? He goes, it's always terrible. It's always young man on acid thought he could fly and it jumped off a building to his death. And they were like, what a loss. And he was like, what a moron. He goes, if he really thought he could fly, why didn't he fucking take off from the ground? You know, and he was like, the world got a little lighter. We lost a moron. And he had this bit that was young man on acid realizes that all life is just energy condensed. Like he said this I don't remember the exact way the
We're
bit
going to play
went.
it.
You never see positive drug stories on the news, do you? Isn't that weird? Since most of the experiences I've had on drugs were real fucking positive. Who are these morons they're finding? That's what I want to know. I used to want to call the news. Come over to our house. Watch Tommy. He's a pig. Film him. He's been doing that for hours. He's killing us. You getting all that? You know what I mean? Always that same LSD story. You've all seen it. Young man on acid thought he could fly, jumped out of a building. What a tragedy. What a dick. Fuck him. He's an idiot. If he thought he could fly, why didn't he take off on the ground first? Check it out. You don't see ducks lined up to catch elevators to fly south. They fly from the ground, you moron. Quit ruining for everybody. He's a moron. He's dead. Good. We lost a moron. Fucking celebrate.
It's a brilliant bit, but it was a bit that wasn't just comedy. Yeah, it was funny. I mean, he was a funny comedian, but he also was a guy who would introduce these very unusual ideas into comedy that really weren't in comedy before, like esoteric ideas, psychedelic ideas, political ideas.
So what got you into comedy?
Oh, Alex, this is so forced. What got me into comedy?
It is not forced.
It is. You're asking me questions like we're doing an interview.
No, because I actually, I can talk plenty. Look out. No, I
No,
did write
let's
these
just
questions
talk.
down.
But you don't
I
have
did
to,
write these
you don't have
questions
to
down.
follow those.
If
It's
you were
clunky.
magically made ruler of the world,
Oh, Jesus.
what are
Christ.
3 things you would do to change the world as it is? Alex Jones never does this. I'm being different.
I understand. What would 3 things do? See, first of all, I'm not qualified. I could barely keep my own shit together. I'm not qualified to be the ruler of anything.
How about this? Kill, fuck, or fight.
Oh, who? Would
Bill
kill fucking-
Gates.
Well, I don't want to kill him,
So you're going to fuck him.
and I don't want to fight him. I don't want to hurt him. It'd probably be the most gentle if I fuck him, right?
We double
if
team Bill
to keep him
Bill
alive.
Gates?
No, that's rude. That and then you're just making a mockery of it.
So you want a personal moment with Bill Gates.
I think,
You know I'm trying to feed the memes right
I
now.
know. I think Bill Gates is a guy who's worth a shitload of money that's trying to do a lot of good.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that his idea of what a vaccine does that's positive outweighs what a vaccine does that's negative.
Well, let's talk about that
honestly
right now.
believe that.
I was on your show.
I honestly believe that.
I was on your show a month ago,
Yeah.
which again, I have your second and third largest podcast. Elon Musk is at the top. I want that top position.
Be careful. Kanye's hot on your heels.
Is he?
I don't know. I
We'll have
I
to
can't
check
pay
that.
attention to that shit. It's not good for
Oh,
me.
yeah. Well, I do. I think it's cool. You put this out on your Instagram. It's got 4,377,000 views. Let's go ahead and play.
Well, it's Bill Gates himself saying that the vaccine made 80% of the people ill, which is exactly what you said on the podcast. And people were complaining, and they were angry. They were trying to find something that you said that was wrong, right? Because we basically checked everything you said, and all of it proved to be accurate. So then we got to this part where you said 80% of the people that took the vaccine got sick. And people are like, he's spreading anti-vaccine conspiracy theories. So I said, okay, listen. Here's the video. This is not me saying I wouldn't take the vaccine. I'm vaccinated. I've been vaccinated for polio and all sorts of shit. Like most people that were born in 1967.
Sure, but they're jacking it in the third world.
My point was, if it worked and it kept people from getting sick, I would take it. That doesn't mean that it doesn't make people sick.
Sure,
Like, this
but
is the problem. What you said was true. 80% of the people that took it got sick. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is what my point was. When I put that video up there, I'm like, you guys are wrong. You're looking at it the wrong way. You look at it like, oh, I hate Alex Jones. Whatever he says must be bullshit. And I'm saying, just listen. Just listen to what he says and then watch. When we pull up the video of the children in Sudan getting polio from the vaccine, like you saw it, and you see that horrified child taking that polio vaccine in their face, or the person's gripping their face. That's a terrifying photo, and it's real. It's
You're
100%
absolutely right.
real.
And here's the difference. The corporate media would never have me on. They would never fact check it and find out it's true. They would say I was a liar, just like Snopes does. So what's weird is the media reports what's going on here and then later says, oh, they'll like use me. I don't even know how to explain it to say Jones claims it
Well, it's
instead of
unfortunate.
AP claims it. And then it's like, oh, it's discredited. I don't know.
People get trapped into the messenger. They get trapped into the messenger instead of listening to the information. A fucking moron might have something important to say. You never know. When someone is
Thank you, Joe.
an idiot, not you,
I know,
but
dude.
if someone's an idiot at most things and they come to you with one fact, someone could be a fucking liar.
Broken
They lie
clocks are
all
right.
the time.
Yeah.
But then they come to you with one fact that they saw on TV and you're like, get the fuck out of here. That's where crying wolf comes from, right?
Absolutely.
Everybody knows that. But the reality is that if you look at every single thing you talked about on the podcast, whether it's, I got one of these right here.
This is a different one.
That's scary. That's bad for you. Everything that I
tobacco?
looked at while we were doing that podcast turned out to be accurate, including the vaccine thing, including all the different things you talked about. We showed the Bohemian Grove footage. Anybody that thinks it's bullshit, it's right there. You can see it all. So the people that are mad at you for whatever you've said in the past, it's a very dangerous thing for all of us. And for the person who thinks this way, it's more dangerous for them because they're denying reality to fit a narrative that they've created in their own head. The narrative they've created in their own head is you're never right, you're always wrong, and if you've been wrong once about something they find heinous.
And most of the time it's some media distortion I didn't even say, but
Well, even
enough
if it's
about
not,
me.
but even if it's not, if it's something accurate, if it's some shit that you said that you wish you didn't, they can look at everything else you said that's accurate and discount it because of one thing. That's bad for them because it
I
gives
agree.
them a distorted perception of
They
reality.
start labeling reality they won't look at.
They also have to
It's like being
enforce
blind.
They have to enforce it in their own head.
Explain that.
They have to pretend that they're right. So they can't see the good in people they disagree with. They can't see the good in there's classic examples, but like if Trump does something good and it turns out to be good for the economy, people find a reason why he doesn't get the credit for it.
Or Trump pulling troops out of countries.
Yes. Or whatever peace treaties that were achieved. Whenever there's a person that never wants to see the good and only wants to see the bad, you're ideologically driven. And you might think it's because your ideology is accurate. And it might be accurate, but the problem is you're married to it. You have a set of beliefs that you got to stick to.
That you then distort reality.
You can't reconsider because you're married to those ideas. So if those ideas fail, you fail.
All right, so let's get into this right now.
That's where the problem is, though.
Joe Biden. You early on said he's got dementia. He can't believe he could be president. This is insulting. Why isn't there a better candidate? Tulsi Gabbard, you had her on. I think she's great as well. I mean, for you, like Tim Pool was not a Republican or a Trump supporter. Now he supported Trump, which I thought had a lot of courage because not that Trump was that good. The other candidate was so fake and bad.
Tim might have done it for the jokes. He might have done it for the lulls.
Absolutely. But seriously, your view on Trump versus Biden, you know, a Biden presidency, what the hell does that look like?
Listen, I voted for Joe Jorgensen. I voted for the Libertarian because I think we should probably, at least, I'm voting out of California. So I'm like, we should support third-party candidates because that's one of the solutions. But California's going to go blue no matter what. I felt like my position, like at least I can support a third party, even if I'm not 100% into that person. The statistics
start building it up.
Yeah, we need options. We can't just have this thing because everybody. The problem with people's opinions is that they're not always well thought out. Meaning, they just find things they think make sense, and they're okay. That's my opinion now. It's not that they form their own opinion in a vacuum, like carefully analyzing all these different controversial positions. They don't want to do that. Their friends are liberal, so they become
No, I
liberal.
agree, but go
Their
back to
friends
you
are conservative,
knowing you
but
get
hold on.
attacked.
Their friends are conservative, so they become conservative. We need an option outside of that.
Get out of the echo
because
chambers.
that thing is not good for us because I have a lot of things that I agree with over here, but a lot of things that I agree with over here. There's like I'm a pro Second Amendment guy. You know, like I accept that gun with gratitude. I own guns. I shoot guns. I practice with guns. I think you should be allowed to have a gun. I think if you're a good person and you're not committing crimes and you're a friendly, loving person, but you want to be able to protect your family, you should have the right to. I don't think that equates. I'm pro mass killings.
No, I agree. But let's get back to Joe Biden because you made some eloquent
best.
statements that went 5 million, 10 million.
I appreciate
views.
that more than
people
anything.
resonate. I think Trump is using an ad.
I think you
You're
have an
like,
opportunity. Like if you're giving,
it's like going in the woods with a flashlight with a bad battery. That's
That's exactly what I said. Basically, I think
I'm not trying to even attack Joe Biden.
No.
I'm
I'm not
saying
even. Listen,
like we have this crypt keeper. Like,
where's the whiskey? Come on, bro.
I'm going to bring it right now.
Bring that strong.
thinking that, no,
Go get that
seriously.
strong shit. Alex Jones wants to get me in trouble by talking about Joe Biden. I don't understand why he'd want to do that to a friend. I hope that guy does well, honestly. My legitimate 100% feelings right now is if he wins and they've declared it and everybody other than QAnon.
Hey,
and,
I'm at a sick part of me hopes he gets in. This is entertaining as hell. Well, a reanimated corpse is president?
but don't you think
I'm
that at
asking your
this
real
point,
view.
it would be very difficult to convince the public that Trump actually won? Just the general
Yes,
public.
yes.
Whether or not you think it makes sense
No,
or
to cause
not.
a civil war, yeah.
Yeah, it's not good.
No. I just
could be
I
very
watch a lot
bad.
of your show, and I thought the things you said about him, like the flashlight. How did you
Salute.
come up with that?
It's called marijuana, sir.
No, but say it again. It's like you said. It's like going in the woods with a flashlight with a bad battery.
That's exactly what I said, basically.
But that's exactly. It's like a flashlight that goes in and out.
I think I said it was like taking a flashlight with a dying battery and going on a long walk in the woods.
That was it. That's not a good idea. I feel like we're leaving the house and it's already like fading out.
Well, listen, man, I hope the guy does well. I hope it's amazing. I hope he becomes the president and the world is a better place and the United States bounces back and everybody's happy. And
But he is a perfect symbol at the end of the country.
I genuinely hope that all all of the decisions change the way the world operates, and we all do better because Joe Biden is the president. That's
I get what you do, though. Now it's masterful because if you